All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, winners. I know y'all looking for Odessa, but Odessa is here. We'll connect Odessa very shortly.
Very soon.
Very soon, very shortly. So, good afternoon to you, winners. We're just here today to give you a brief live update. I know yesterday there was apparently a lot going on, and so a lot of people had a lot of things to say. And so it is only right and fitting that we take some time to let our supporters know how things went down, what went down, why it went down the way it went down, and to shed some truth to a lot of the misinformation you've been hearing out there. And so I am Cleon. For those of you who may or may not know me, I am Cleon Halley, and next to me I have
Tabitha Sarabo-Halley. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a good Saturday afternoon. As Cleon said, a lot has been said and insinuated and suggested by a lot of people over the last 24 hours or so. And I believe it is right that we get a chance to respond. And we were determining whether a press statement would suffice. And while a press statement is necessary, I think a live update where we can speak to you and get you, give you a sense of exactly what transpired would be a better way than just a press statement, which will not have all of the nuances that took place over the last couple of weeks and what happened yesterday. So it's good to be here and follow us.
All right, so now I'm going to bring in Odessa, who is here with us. Odessa, good afternoon. How are you? Oh, you look nice.
Well, hello. Good afternoon.
All right, so I know a lot of you are here to hear what Odessa have to share with us because, as you know, Odessa is the GS of the Win Party, and so she would have been spearheading, or should have been spearheading the negotiation between Win and the other members of the opposition. And so, what we're gonna do first is we're gonna have Odessa just give us a little bit of backdrop as it relates to
What
the
those conversations were.
conversations and what happened and what led to what happened yesterday. So, Odessa, over to you to give the people the truth.
Mhm. The whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Um, First of all, I want to start by saying that I want to start in a different place and then get to this place if that's okay. There has been a lot that was peddled on social media, which I plan to address as much as I possibly can on this forum and other forums, because it needs to be made very clear, with PNC members spewing a lot of lies, a series of lies, starting with the fact that we would have broken up or destroyed the legacy of Burnham. Um, I believe that until the PNC can come to the place to accept that they have been a successful failure, that they would not be able to to change their current position, because unless you start from the place of accepting that we would have failed, we would have erred, we would have wronged our people, I don't see the party going anywhere. So if you are going to refer to anybody as failing the PNC, I'd suggest you start with the leadership of the PNC, and not attack people like myself and Tabitha and Natasha and Don and so on, who had somewhat of a relationship in some case. Well, in the case of the three of them, held positions in the party. I, for one, do not believe that you're born a this and die a that. You know, a lot of people say, I was born a PP or born a PNC and I can die. Listen, I was born a black woman and I don't see myself dying as any other thing other than a black woman. And so, you know, that is a sad situation when people put themselves in a place where they feel as though they're indebted to a party for a lifetime because this is the party that you joined, or your parents and their parents and so on were part of. If the party is not serving you, is not serving the best interest of the people, then you are not a mountain, you are not a tree, and even trees sway. You have that free ambit to move and to either go to another party that suits your likeness, or you form or be part of a formed party that does so.
Yeah.
So that is what one of the things I wanted to clear up before we even get into the meat of what has happened. Now, in this equation, as it relates to Win and PNC, I know a lot of people will want to say, "Oh, they're not PNC, they're APNU and so on." Whatever you call yourself, it's okay. As it relates to us and them, they are in this equation the more experienced political party, having been in existence for 60 plus years. And as such, one would expect that based on the fact that they have so a wealth of experience, that they would have reached out to us, the newcomers, to say, you know what, um, let us sit down and discuss the way forward, because in order for us to um, to move forward as a people, we have to be able to come to certain agreements, because the nation depends on it. Because the people who supported us, the people who supported the PNC, they are all anti-government people. They're all anti-PPP people. And that is why they would have gone to either or parties as well as Forward Guyana. And so for all of us on that side of the coin, what we have in common is, I don't know if enemy is a strong word, but we have a common enemy. And so, as such, if we are going to move forward against a government that has um, financial wealth as well as experience and wicked deeds on their side, then even though we are going to be representing our people individually, they are positions on which we must work on together.
Yeah.
And so, having that in mind, I am the person who reached out to the PNC. The PNC did not reach out to us.
Correct.
So for to even put out a statement by the leader who I deem the most layered person across there, to put out a statement to say that Win wants it all could never be correct.
Yeah.
Because if we wanted it all, we would not have been the one reaching out with you to negotiate in the best interest of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So that is what happened. I reached out, um, and I reached out to Aubrey because while Terence is there, based on the information that was put out in the public, to me, Terence is in charge of the parliamentary aspect of things, while Aubrey still governs the party as a whole.
Uh-huh.
So I reached out to Aubrey. Aubrey and I had um, a couple of engagements thereafter. And that would have been via phone. Him calling me, or I calling him to say we'd like to have this or we'd like to have that. And let me explain specifically, because I don't want to have vague discussions. Let us get very specific.
Very specific.
One of the things in Aubrey's first call with me, that he said, we would like to negotiate these 4 regions, right? I said, and what might those 4 regions be? He said, Region 7, Region 4, Region 10, and Region 8. I said to him, Aubrey, there is no need to negotiate for Region 7
Yeah.
because we outright won that region.
Correct.
And whether or not you support us, or any other party supports us, if we vote for ourselves, we will
We
win.
have the majority. Yeah.
For those people who are looking at the live, I would like to give some clarity to that discussion numerically. So in Region 7, in terms of seating for that region, we have 8 seats in that region. PVP has
Yes.
5 seats in that region,
5.
AFC 1 and PNC 1. Right? So it's PNC 5, AFC 1, PPP, APNU 1, and Win 8.
Yes.
Right? So if you look at the 8, even if you add the other parties, if you add PNC, AFC, and
PPP.
APNU, you will still get 7 seats.
Yeah.
Right? So if we outright voted for ourselves, it therefore means that we would win both the vice chair as well as the chairmanship in that region.
Correct.
If I'm correct there, Cleon?
Yes.
Very correct.
Very correct.
Right, but Aubrey didn't get that. And he also said Region 10. I
Might be the
said to
max
him,
issue.
Aubrey, well, PNC always got a issue with numbers. I said to him also, while a similar yet different um, numerical representation is in Region 10, where in Region 10, Win won 9 seats, PNC got 5 seats, Forward Guyana got
Got one.
1 seat, and PPP got three
Three.
seats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, unless the three of them come together, there is no way we could have a tie in the region, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Because Win has 9 seats. So Win has the combined grouping in terms of numbers of seats. So the only how any other party could win in that region is to have a collaboration with both Forward Guyana and PPP.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it therefore means, based on what we see in that region, that the people in that region prefers to have Win manage the affairs of the region.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah.
Because if you look at it, in a individual against the number in APNU, it therefore means that most double times the amount of the people say we don't want PNC, we had enough of them, we sick of them.
Yes.
That is what that number says,
Correct.
right? So I said that I don't foresee there's a need to. The people in Region 10, I had a discussion with them because in all these discussions with Aubrey, I have said that even though I can say certain things to you, I still have to go back to the party to hear what they have to say. The people in Region 10 prefer to not go through making an arrangement, and I share that with them because at the end of the day, it's not what Odessa Primus want or what the Mohammeds want. And to add clarity to a statement that I've seen publicly coming out of someone from the PNC, at no point did any of these negotiations take place between any member of the Mohammeds family or the Mohammeds and the PNC. So that engagement has never happened.
Correct.
I am the person that was speaking with these people. Any arrangements was being had between me and a meeting that was supposed to happen that never happened, that we will get to later on in the discussion.
Aha.
Now, those, when I said that to Aubrey, Aubrey agreed. Now, if we were to move to Region 8, in Region 8, let me give you the seating arrangement so you can get some idea as to what that looks like. PPP got 7 seats, Win got 7 seats, and PNC has
One.
1 seat in that region.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in that region, it therefore means that in order for any one of us, well, there are two ways, but the way that we were looking at is that the PNC will give us their vote for the chairmanship. And I, in turn, asked what they would like to have. Perhaps if they would want to be on one of the commissions or those sorts of things, like to govern one of those things, or, like what are you guys looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Aubrey said we would like to have the vice chair in that region. Remember, I'm speaking to Aubrey in my individual capacity, but on behalf of the party. So I am saying my personal views to you now because I have to go back to the party, as I would have shared with him, to hear what is the party's stance in
Yes.
these matters.
Yeah.
I said, Aubrey, let me tell you how I feel about this. 771 says the people in Region 8 don't want you. Right?
Yeah.
It is either us or the PVP that they feel more comfortable with governing them. So you're going to give us the chair. What do you want? He said vice chair. I said, well, the truth is, it's not my heart's desire to say yes to that, because clearly I am here to represent the will of the people.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
if that is the grounds on which we are going to negotiate, if that is what you have on the table and that is what you want, I would be inclined to agree, even though it's not what I would prefer to do. But I will share that with the party. I did share it with the party. The party felt the very same way I felt. However, the majority ruled and the majority said, let's give them the vice chair.
Mhm.
I then reached out back. I said, Aubrey, I spoke with these people. They said, give you all the vice chair. We take the chair. Right?
Yeah.
No problem. Agreed. Let's move on. Now, in Region 4, I got a call today from four different members of the PNC saying that we wanted the chairmanship in Region 4. Now, that is a lie from the pit of hell.
Wow.
And I don't know if Aubrey has a mill over there that manufactures lies. But at no point did we ever say we would like to have the chairmanship in Region 4. No point.
Correct.
That was never on the table. It was never said by us.
Yeah.
It was never said by them. It was never said by anybody.
Maybe that was an
No,
internal thing to
I
get his people
consider,
to sway a certain way.
and I get that
Yeah.
completely because that man has a web of lies that he's spinning over there all the time. Now, let me tell you, we said we will give y'all the chair. Y'all can get
The vice chair.
we can get the vice
Yeah.
chair.
Yeah.
Now, in Region 4, however, it's a little peculiar situation where it's not up to us and APNU
Alone.
alone
Correct.
because Forward Guyana has a seat there that we also need in order to get more votes than the PVP in that region. Now, this conversation wasn't had with Aubrey, so let me clarify this part of it. I said, what are we going to give to Forward Guyana for their seat,
Uh-huh.
for their vote, sorry. I was told that Forward Guyana would like to have the public works, right? I said, even without consulting the party, that I do not foresee the party having any problems giving. Are you hearing me still?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Why am I? Are you hearing me still?
We're hearing
Oh,
you.
sorry about that. Yes, I said I do not foresee the party. Okay, I do not foresee the party having a problem giving public works to Forward Guyana. So I could safely say go ahead and make the arrangements with Forward Guyana so that you guys can have the chairmanship and as the vice, and we will give them that. In fact, I further added that in Region 10, because Apostle is Region 10, you have, and that is Apostle Nigel London, who is part of Fort Guyana. So I was saying, and I said to our people in Region 10, do not make any um, uh, concrete decisions as it relates to these different commissions and whatever else that they have up there that you can offer just in case Forward Guyana feel as though a lot of people with their strengths might be over there in that region and they want to give them an opportunity to serve on one of these well, not boards but commissions and so on. And I share that as well. So to see a statement coming out of the PNC that says that we wanted everything, it is pure wickedness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have preferred that they say, you know what, we couldn't come to an agreement. But what I will like to add further is when all of this is said and done, because I will go back and forth in this conversation, because I also want to go back to the meeting that didn't happen, which you guys were privy to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you were there for that meeting. But what I was told at the end of before the end of this meeting is that they wanted to know as it relates to the GCOM placements and so on that you have for
The
scrutineers,
scrutineers,
deputy
yeah.
scrutineers, assistant scrutineers, and so on. If we are going to give them any of those, because that is automatic to us. I said that in all fairness, I don't see why we would have a problem giving y'all a few of these. But I cannot definitively say we can give you a 5, 10, or 100.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to speak to the party to hear what their position is because I don't have a problem with this. Right?
Yes.
And I was told, okay, they're willing to have discussions as it relates to Parliament and so on. I said, well, I did reach out to Aubrey as it relates to Parliament and having discussions because obviously, if we're going in there as a opposition to serve our people, we want to ensure that we serve people to the best of our ability. While I may not be part of the PNC, at the end of the day, if we're saying that we have a common goal, which is to ensure the people are taken care of, because the PPP is very vindictive and one-sided and not looking after everybody, and as much as they out here jumping up and down, shouting one Guyana in a very divided nation that they themselves have played a significant role in dividing.
Mm-hmm.
Let us look at, where people are going to be placed, who's going to shadow where, what we're going to, agree to do, and so on, in the best interest of the people.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to put somebody in win to shadow a ministry that the PNC has somebody who is more capable of serving. Because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, this is not about win or the PNC. This is about the people who've elected us to serve in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
All right. And at that point I was told that, well, let me go back to my party and see whatever it is. But at the end of the day, if we're not prepared and willing to give them the vice chairmanship in region 10, then all of the deal is off of the table. There's no negotiation, no nothing.
Yeah.
I came back to my party. My party was okay with giving everything except the vice chair in region 10. Let me
And you should
backpedal a
add and you
little.
should add
Before I
region
left that,
7 as well. Because we, like you said, we
right, but
outrightly won 7.
right, but additionally, Cleon, one of the things that was said to me before the end of that meeting is that if we're unable to come to an agreement that the PNC is in a position where they're ready and prepared to negotiate with the PPP.
Wow.
That was
That
said
that
to
is a
me in
conversation
plain
with who?
words. Terrence.
Okay.
That was said to me in plain words.
Don't worry, they're
Additionally,
gonna go and put out a
because I don't
statement saying
want to,
Terrence doesn't speak for the PNC or the APNU.
that is okay, but I'm not the person who put you in charge over there at the parliament and so on. So they need to put out whatever statement they feel like putting out. I ain't concerned. He called me for us to speak in the best interest of the people.
Yeah.
Terrence is somebody who I hold dear to me. He's a friend, or has been a friend. I don't know what position he has taken, but my thing is, at the end of the day, what is before us is bigger than myself. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than Terrence.
Correct.
It is bigger than the PNC, and it is much bigger than Win.
Yeah.
And so, if we are going to um, be different, because in my
Yeah.
opinion, I'm here with Win because I want to be a part of a movement that is different, that
Yes.
is not for a particular race, that is not for a particular class, that is for Guyanese and has the best interests of Guyanese at
Yes.
heart. And so at the end of the day, whether or not I would have been happy having meetings with Norton or not, this is not about Odessa. If
Yeah.
it is in the best interest of the people for me to sit at a table with Norton, then my ass need to be sitting at a table with Norton,
Yeah.
because I am not here to serve myself.
Yeah.
I'm here to serve the people.
Correct.
And there are things that were said to me that has made me very uncomfortable in a decision making period, where I have to hear, oh, the FBI is going to come for the Mohammed soon, so you guys need to make a decision with us. I mean, uh, first of all, I am not a Mohammed. Nobody's coming for me. I would like to make that very clear. And so I don't want anybody to feel as though they're going to bully or bamboozle me into making a decision
Yeah.
because of the Mohammed situation. The Mohammed seem to be doing perfectly fine. Rich people don't have poor people problems. Those people are quite capable of sorting themselves out without us. This is a party. It's not an individual that has something going on. While the party may have started on the likeness of Azadin Mohammed, the party is not a person. The party, we have moved from an Azadin Mohammed to a Tabitha, to a Cleon, to a Natasha, to a Vishnu Pandey, to all the people over there in Borbis and Bartika. This is not about an individual anymore. So don't you try to make me feel as though I have to do something. We're here
Yeah.
talking about something. Let us speak as civilized people. Don't try to pressure me into anything. More importantly, in that meeting, I said if the PNC, and I want to go on record saying that Odessa Primus said that if the PNC went against us and and made a deal with the PPP, that I will ensure that they remember that for as long as possible. I will make a mess out here because y'all is past me. But tell me that if we can't come to an agreement, you never say, you know what, if we agree, we can stand down. You can go and make a deal with the PPP, and one that is stupid at that, where you would have lost in the region that has the largest
No.
voting population. I mean, how stupid is that?
We're gonna get to that because
That don't show no business sense, no common sense, no sense
the
whatsoever.
funny thing
It's
about it
stupid.
all though, Odessa, is that they're gloating on social media as if they have achieved some milestone. And for me, I'm looking and I'm reading the statements, I'm reading the comments, I'm reading the supposed jabs that people are throwing, and you would believe that they have achieved something great, when in the essence, after losing everything at the election, you lost Region 10, you lost Region 4, you lost everything that the PNC had prior to the elections. You then come to a point where you were able to regain the chair of Region 4 if you would have come to the agreement with Win. You were able to get a part of Region 8
which you
vice
never got
chair,
anything.
you know, but you would rather strike a deal with the PPP that gives you the chair of Region 10, 30 plus thousand votes, as compared to having the chair of Region 4, over 200,000. And yet still, they're trying to paint a picture, oh, Win is so immature, they don't have political sense, and da 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 da. But at the end of the day, when you look at it for what it is, when you look at the result, who looks as though they don't have political sense? Win came into
Or
this with
any sense at all,
nothing.
Cleon.
Win came into this with nothing. And at the end of the day, we were able to prove that we can outclass you at an election even after 3 months. But yet still you think that you had the upper hand and you strike deals within your best interest. If any one of them could look into the mirror and watch at themselves and say, we strike a deal that was within the best interest of our party, without laughing at themselves, something definitely wrong over in Congress Place. Because it's ludicrous. I'm going to get into this just now, but Tabitha, I don't know if you have anything before Odessa continue, because I know there are more details as it relates to the actual negotiation meeting that we were supposed to have. Then we're going to come back more to the results, and we're going to try to paint a picture or support it with evidence of how we know, or what definitely showed that they were colluding with the PPP all along. So, Tabby, I don't know.
I just wanted to say something on the view that came from somewhere in the PNC that we were interested in the chairmanship of Region 4. I find that ludicrous on so many different levels, because when we looked at the numbers, we were looking at where the people voted, how the people voted, what exactly the people wanted in these regions, and how we could facilitate that at the level of the region in terms of who becomes chair and vice chair.
Correct.
And when we looked at Region 4, we recognized that we got third. APNU got 9 seats, we got 8 seats. And so there's no way we can come to APNU and say we need a chair when it's obvious that we had 8 seats and they had 9.
Correct.
So to somebody to go and tell anybody in the PNC that we were asking for chair, it's disingenuous. And I'm hoping that this is just some rumor, and that it did not come from anybody that you were actually talking to, Odessa, because if it did, it shows the level of the leadership of the PNC, that they would go to that length to try to paint Win in a particular way. And I just want to make it very clear that nobody in Win at any time suggested, thought about getting the chairmanship of Region 4, because we recognize that we were third in that. And what we wanted to do was to ensure that Region 4 did not go to the PPP. And that meant collaborating with the APNU and Forward Guyana in some way, shape, or form to ensure that Region 4 does not get into the hands of the PPP. That was our agenda.
Right.
And if that meant that the APNU got the chair and we got the vice chair, we could have had discussions around what that could look like, and we could work with that. But to come with that, but about us wanting chairmanship, I think it's ludicrous. And if there's anybody saying that anywhere, I hope it stops now, because we are saying here that never came from Win.
Never said. Never.
It ain't gonna stop. Are we gonna keep telling them that? It ain't gonna stop. Believe you me, because at this point, The only thing they can do to try and salvage this nonsense and the devastating state of the PNC right now is to continue to lie to themselves. And by lying to yourself, you then got to lie to those who are supposed to be the people who are close to you, let's say the central exec, and by virtue or extension, your supporters. And it was it was amazing to see yesterday the many comments and jabs that came out, which was obvious that the information was shared internally because everybody came with this position that Win did this to the PNC. Everybody had this narrative
Right.
that Win took a position to do X, Y, and Z because they wanted everything. And so everybody decided that no, they're going to come and they're going to attack Win. I know whether or not they know the truth. I mean, at some point in time, I do hope that they sit down and they really try to process and think through. Because, for example, when we look at Region 4, when we look at the results of Region 4, the results were for the chair, PPP got 18 votes. The PNC got 8 votes. You have 9 councillors. Now ask yourself, with you having 9 councillors
How
having
you
to
only
vote,
get 8 votes
how you get 8 votes with the PPP having 17 councillors
and getting 18
get
votes?
18. Mind you, when decided
Mhm.
that we would abstain from voting, reason being because while in that process, we got word of what happened in Region 8 and Region 10. And when we realized that these people are really hell-bent on
Thank you.
working with
With
the
the
PPP
PPP.
to ensure that Win is shafted, we decided that we will abstain from this process. And why did we do that? Just for
Ah,
clarity for the people out there. We did that so that we could have gotten the evidence or a clear understanding to show where the votes were going. We knew that somebody from the APNU would have had to cross lines in order for the PVP to win, even if we vote with the APNU. And so we decided to abstain. We went through a process. You see the Life of Guyana, like live, what the page name? Live in Guyana like to post. They post a picture with Win talking to FMG. Little do they know that what we were doing is devising a strategy for FMG also to confirm their support for APNU while we abstain. So let me share this, which is some more information. So FMG supported APNU, which would have given them a vote, but APNU only got 8. What does that suggest? 2 persons from the APNU had to cross the aisle for the PPP. One of them had to spoil the vote based on the results, and one of them voted for the PPP. So what they did, they took all necessary measures to ensure that the PPP got the chair. And these are nothing that you can make up. A lot of people wonder why we abstained.
right.
But based on what happened in 10 and 8, we had to take a measure to get the evidence to show that they were bent on supporting the PPP. But yet still they come out and say Win decided not to vote with them for Region 4. And we decided not to vote because you're sellouts.
Right.
Simply put. So yes,
You
Odessa.
could
So
imagine, Cleon, if I could add just for a second, during the elections campaign, and I'm speaking to the general elections at this point, we would have seen the PNC putting out a number of things about Adriana's death. About there's always this picture with this woman covered in mud and mucker and tears, because of the demolition of the structure there, and you talk about lives or in Boston and all those people who would have died,
yeah.
and make it appear as though the PvP is such an enemy, and they are. Don't get me wrong, they are. They are everything that the PNC say they are. They're that and some. But you could imagine coming to the place to say, I'm going to go with these people who have done so much to our people just so that we can get a position. Because this is not about party and the will of the people anymore. This is about ensuring that you get a position in some place. And so that one person even said to me after these discussions were had and the elections were over, the PNC has always been in charge of Region 10 and they just want to ensure they have a seat in there and so on. First of all, what the PNC needed to ensure is that they did the work for the people in Region 10,
Yeah.
that they did not fail the people in Region 10, so the people would not come out resoundingly and vote for win.
Yes.
Because a lot of people have moved away from this stupid race voting. Oh, because this one is black, we go here, or this one is Indian, we go there. A lot of people have moved away from that. And people are sick and tired, quite frankly, of both PNC and PPP because of the selfish way in which they have been governing this nation for the most part. And so it is sad that the will of the people will not be represented in Region 10 because the PNC decided that they are going to make a deal with the PPP. As well as in Region 8, none of the PNC people seem to be talking about Region 8, you know. Region 8, those people voted against a win for the PPP. So I cannot begin to understand how that is not put out there, or why that is not put out there, and so it makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. You're putting out stories and so on that suits your
Yeah.
likeness. Oh, when I noticed there is this lady, I had to block her today. Maybe one of you could tell her, she named Patricia from the PNC. She coming on me page whole day posting rubbish. I just blocked Patricia because she propaganda mill is not going to be spinning on my page whole day. Patricia needs psychiatric evaluation. You are going to look at region, tell me, oh, but when vote for the PPP in Region 5, when give the vote to PPP in Region 5. Madam Patricia, if you would engage your brain for a moment, you would see in Region 5 that the APNU got 4 seats, the PPP got 11, and we got 3.
Yeah.
So, madam, even if we vote or don't vote or nobody vote or there's a mistake, PPP was going to win that region unless you are a miracle worker or an Oyo woman of the highest order,
Yeah.
right?
But there's the thing, right?
They
They
were
try
going to
to
win.
use that to salvage, to try and salvage some amount of pride. And this is what people need to understand. If we did not abstain from Region 4, how the narrative that they are pushing could have affected us in a negative sense. Because with what happened in Region 5, as you were alluding to, imagine what they would have said about Region 4 when that ballot would have been counted and you hear 18 for PPP. They would have said it's a win person voted for the PPP. You understand? And so it is very interesting the way things panned out. And I am happy that the Guyanese populace gets a chance to see um, post campaign, in order for Guyana to grow, PPP must go. But now, in order for Guyana to grow, I don't even like saying
PPP, AP, and you coalition has to go. No,
the
but
PPP, APNU must go. This is how we got to put it in 2030. So we already got the slogan coined for 2030, because at the end of the day, like you rightfully said, it doesn't matter whether or not you did not come to an agreement that is favorable to you. You have to sit down and weigh the pros and the cons at the end of the day. And if it means like you feel, oh, I might be selling myself short if I don't get the Region 10 vice chair or what's not, at least there were numerous offers on the tables for you to take. And the fact that you would go a route that resulted in you getting less than you would have gotten had you supported
This
win,
spoiled child behavior.
it suggests clearly that you are not interested.
but it's more than spoiled child behavior, Odessa, and this is what I hope people get from what is happening here. People are saying, yes, we are neophytes in this thing, we are new, we don't know how to play politics. But two things are happening. One, the two major parties who've been in existence for over 60 years do not want a third party that has say in the process.
Yeah.
And so they are willing to work together to push out the third party so that it would only be the two of them involved in politics in Guyana. So they are willing to go the lengths to ensure that there is no third force in this country. So that is one. The second thing is that somehow I don't understand what goes on in the head of the lead of the APNU, PNC. But in my assessment and analysis of what is happening, they are willing to go without, not be able to represent the people that voted for them, and lie their way out of it to blame somebody else. I don't know what you
Right.
call that.
Stupidity.
That is more than
Yes,
stupidity.
that's the word.
If you could
Well,
give up,
stupidity times 10.
if you are willing to give up your strongest base, the region with the most people that vote for you, and you're willing to put that on some chopping block because you want a vice chair in Region 8, where you've never gotten anything before, where you need to ensure that you have the chairmanship of the region that you've always controlled, and you have chosen to work with the PPP to get rid of Win instead of representing the interests of the people that voted for you. I hope people are understanding what happened in this local government, because I was reading GHKLL today.
Regional, not local.
No, no, no. Well, I mean, it's RDC.
Yeah.
But it's a local election. But yes, I was reading GHKLL today, and I just want to make it clear, even though you sort of suggested it earlier, I was never PNC. I never had a PNC card. I never joined the PNC. So if people thought that I was, just let it be very clear, I was never a PNC. I used to be WPA, and I was part of the APNU, but I was never a member of the PNC. But what is happening now, I think the population, after you get through all of the things that are going left and right and who is Win and who is PNC and whatever the case is that I hope people understand what really went down during the elections process, which is the general elections, and what happened yesterday. At the level of the general elections, it was obvious that the APNU was not putting in their all at the elections for whatever reason. They were content with coming in second. What they didn't expect was Win. And now, at the
Yeah,
level
and
of the
to add to
RDC,
that though, Tabitha, I noticed a video came out today. I think it was from Terence that said, when you name your children something and they don't. Anyways, what he was saying basically is that we were pompous enough to name the party Win, but we couldn't win. But I would like to clarify for my good friend Terence that Win came into this equation with 0 seats, with zero base, with zero everything. So we started fresh. So if at the end of these elections we got 10 votes, we still win. We won 10 votes because we started with nothing.
exactly.
However, if we are going to decide on a name for something based on the way you perform, then the PNC should name themselves losers. Because what has happened is they have lost in this equation and they have lost their seat in Region 7 to the PPP. And I don't even mean this time around. I'm talking about the last local government elections. And
Yeah.
that was history because as long as I could remember, and I'm from that region, that has never happened. So y'all are a failure before Win even came onto the scene. So don't blame Win for your failure. Blame yourselves for your failure.
Yeah.
Because Aubrey coming there as though he's some big bad British bulldog and he ain't back up to now. So you have failed your people. Oh, we're gonna do this and we're gonna stand up to the PP. And no, I'm not shaking Irfan hand. I'm not shaking Irfan hand. Irfan is not my friend. I hear representing me people and Irfan doing me. I hear that you're making deals with Irfan. Eh? You and the whole pack of you sit down and say, you know what? They don't want to give us this. And so we want to know if we vote for y'all in Region 8. You could imagine that the party will get 1 seat in Region 8, right? Vote with the PVP, made an agreement. Don't say you make an agreement. Y'all need to stop lying to people. This is why you see, I never really wanted to be a part of frontline politics because these banners is lie. And I can sit down there and I can need to stick my hand up and say, sorry, I'm part of this party, but I will not be part of this foolish deceit. You understand me?
Yeah.
Now, the PPP then turn around and vote for the PNC and give them the deputy chair. Y'all
Exactly.
make no deal. It just happened to happen like that.
Yeah. According
In
to
Region
them, they
10,
did
they
what was
vote for
within the
y'all.
best interest for
Best
their
interest of 40. If you don't do no
members.
best, PPP think this whole country is in their best interest that they got everything. So don't tell me best interest. The two liar down cantankerous.
Yeah.
And you know what I don't like? Even in the period when there was that recount with Granger and the party and they were putting out statements and so on. You know what was upsetting for me? the fact that people were so emotionally embroiled in that process, and there were people from both sides of the political spectrum who felt it necessary, who felt that it was acceptable to come out here and share lies with people who are already in a terrible emotional state. That for me is wickedness to the highest extent. So for the PNC, when you look at some of these people who put out statements, who some of them, first of all, outside of Aubrey and Terence, any other statement that I would have seen, none of those people were sitting at no table. I never see Ganesh at nothing. I never see none of them that coming out here and talking. So they getting second and third and fourth hand information and coming out here and making wild statements and accusations. You do not do that. As a leader, you ought to be responsible. If you
Yeah.
do not know what is happening, don't just run with some foolishness. Understand what is happening. And you could imagine that some of these people had the temerity to ask me if going forward, are you guys prepared to work with APNU AFC? On what basis? What has changed? Because we were just deceived by these people. You know,
Yeah.
I noticed one of the journalists asking, if I may add this as well, why it is that we did not nominate somebody for the chairmanship in Region 4. Why? Because we said we're giving it to them, we're going to
Exactly.
vote with them.
Exactly.
But during that process, we realized that they went against us in 8, they
And
went against us in 10,
yes.
and we will not stand with them in 4. Let us figure the way out is either the swim or the drowned. And so we decided that we were going to stand down in its entirety, because even if we nominated somebody for the vice chair at this point now, it would make no difference because we did not have the numbers in our favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the chairmanship, that part was done, and there was nominations for the vice chair, the APNU person who was nominated for chair, they were nominated again for the vice chair position. So we recognize that we are not part of the conversation. It was among the two of them. And basically at the end of the day, they made a decision, and I don't know when they were thinking it through, what they thought Win would have done at that point. So I'm not sure they thought through everything
Vote for
that they were
them.
going to be doing on that day
Vote for them.
enough,
We
you
will
know.
give them it.
Because I don't know whether they
They
think
can
that
be
we are
serious.
clueless as to what is going on and we'll just follow whatever because we have no sense. But what we decided to do in abstaining, and I'm hearing people keep asking why did we abstain, is that we wanted to see how the numbers would fall. And if we did not abstain and we voted, then it could be that one of our members voted for the PPP. You would have heard that is our member voted the one for the PPP, and somebody else voted for Shanika got all of her numbers. And so to make it very clear how it all fell, we decided we were going to abstain from that vote. And very clearly we saw that Shanika got 8. She has 9, APNU has 9 councillors at Region 4. I want people to understand this.
What the other one?
APNU has 9. Shanika got 8 votes. Where did that one vote go? PPP have 17 councillors. They got 18 votes. Where did that vote come from? It did not come from Win.
Yeah. And let us also establish something else here. The fact that all of the regions did not conduct secret ballots. The fact that it is mainly the regions that the PPP and the APNU wanted to collude had secret ballots.
Yeah.
The only way they knew that the gentleman or the council
in Region 5
voted for the PPP is because that was by show of hands. Right? So the question then is, why is it that there were select regions for secret ballot? If they knew that, look, they're putting out statements, oh, we did what was in the best interest of our people and da-da-da-da, then y'all should have openly stand up there and raise your hand and say, what's my name, vote for the PPP. But you're ashamed to stand and do so, that you want to go and hide behind a secret ballot, cast your ballot, and then come out on the road, bad up yourself like y'all some prima donnas, and then come and say to the people that some way, shape, or form, Win make y'all and get this and make y'all and get that. I don't understand who knight them and tell them that they have some high level of political acumen. but the need to get a checkup from the neck up because something is definitely wrong over in Congress Place. For you to give up your political base, which is Region 4, your main base, the first time ever in the political history, post-independence political history of Guyana, that you're going to sit by so casually and just hand something. I guess when James Bond said to the president that he was giving him Region 4, he knew very well how smart his former members of the PNC are. He had to have some insight into the future. Because literally that is what the
James Bond
PNC
ain't do
did.
nothing.
They
Please don't
handed
give
the
James
region.
Bond no flowers here, because James Bond ain't even deserve a turn. He do absolutely nothing.
But it is just laughable. And to come out here and to accuse Win of wanting everything and not being able to come to an agreement with you is it's a downright lie. And I mean, for the others, I do hope that they were told a lie and they didn't know the truth. Because if many of those who I see putting statements out there know the truth and they're supporting the truth, you know, it's a sad day and it explains why they are where they are and why come 2030 they will be worse off. I do not care how much they think that they can salvage by trying to attack or join with the PPP to attack. The PPP's mission at this point is their one Guyana mantra. They want to control everything. And what you have done, what the PNC has done, is given them another 2-3 steps closer
To that.
to controlling everything. And if you follow politics very closely, when one party dominates central, local, and all the arms of government, you end up with a dictatorship.
Exactly. That is what I was saying this
And
morning
for
to
all
one
the
of the people in the
smart
party
people
there.
over at Congress Place that know who is now come and who don't have political sense and can't negotiate, for them to not even sit down and rationalize these basics suggests that we should not even be having conversations with them.
It's not. It's. Odessa.
Tabitha, don't try to help them people.
No,
They're
no, no, no,
stupid.
no. I'm not.
You know,
No,
I
trust
remember.
me. I have no help to give them because
I remember one time I had a conversation with Granger, and I was saying that these people are stupid. And he said, you know, Odessa, you do not refer to people as stupid. And then I explained the situation to him, and then he said, yes, they're stupid. and this is one of those. It wasn't this situation, but this is one of those situations where you don't want to say people are stupid, but they're stupid. It is a
it's
stupid thing to do, and it is a wholly selfish thing to do, because you mean to tell me that at no point in all of this did you consider the people who went out there to vote, the people who you have convinced that the PPP is nobody to be making any deals with the PPP, self-pay to care about itself. But you sat down in a room, in a space, and say, give me this and we can give you all that. So what you, in retrospect, what you have done is given the PPP an additional 2 regions to add to the already 6. So 8 now you give them. You have gifted them that 2 to add to the 6 that you could have done absolutely nothing about.
I just want to say one thing.
And that is a sad place to be, real sad
but
place. And it
you
is
know.
sad that the PPP got the PNC. I mean, both political parties, but we're not talking about the PPP because they're not relevant in the grand scheme of things in this discussion. But it is sad that the PPP have got people who would die for this party. Who, if the party said the sky is purple, they will say the sky is purple. And that is a sad thing for you to come out here and mislead and misguide people in terms of what is really happening. Come and tell the people, yes, we went and we think with the PPP because we want to have a sitting over here and we want this and that. And even though we couldn't get, even with the PPP and the position taken, you would have gotten less still, because with us, you would have been in Region 4 as well. Now you're not over here at all.
Yeah.
You understand me? So
I
what you have done is given up your biggest for Region 10 and for Region 8. And if you look at it, and you have a deputy in Region 8, and if you look at it, it is very stupid, because at the end, stupid is going to be the word of the day, by the way. It's very stupid because now with that decision made, you're out in the cold over here.
Yeah.
So I don't know whatever other arrangements. I guess the PPP must
But
say we can give you some contracts and stay in region 4,
but they need to
stand down
look
or whatever,
sharp
because
before
these
the
people
very
say it's
deputy
all
in
about
Region
funds.
8. They need to look sharp before the person in Region 8 and some of the councillors in Region 10 by 2030 solidly on the PPP's
But at the rate
list.
they're going, they might be on VP race too. But
If they're not.
there's something that I think they didn't factor into what they were doing yesterday. They were just
Mm-hmm.
playing, hoping that they'll be able to blame win for everything
Yeah.
and gain some support on that momentum. So they were willing, and it's crazy, they were willing to give up Region 4 for 5 years with the hope that giving up Region 4 would cause people to be so upset with Win that they will regain some support.
Yeah.
And our abstaining from the process blew that whole thing wide open. And so whether we neophytes or not, I think they need to learn a lesson or two. Thank you very much. That's all I need to say on that. Because I don't,
It's who said we're neophytes?
I don't know, one of them. I think it's Terrence. Somebody said we're neophytes. But whoever said that we're neophytes need to know
Aye.
that it's not much to really get one or two over the PNC in this particular condition that they're in. And Odessa, the conversations that you had with the APNU, people also need to understand that they were done in good faith. What the WIN movement is all about and is interested in is ensuring that the will of the people is what is seen at every level. It's not about self.
Every level.
It's not about who we could get one up, who
Yeah.
we could show we more powerful than. We were willing to come to the table and say, how do we make sure that we can solidify our support? It's our support. We could ensure that we represent the interests of the people, and we could ensure that the PPP doesn't get Region 4. That was the
You
basis on
know,
which the conversations
Tabitha,
happened.
sorry, go ahead.
And the fact that the PNC could not see
Yeah.
through that and thought it wiser to go and form some sort of coalition with the PPP shows that their interest is not in the people. It is about power and maintaining some sort of two-party system in the country and alienating Win. But I'm telling you, they're going to lose a lot from this, and they will wish they never did it.
According to them,
You
it's
know,
probably
it's
punishment
not
for the
just them
result.
making the decision to go against us and so on. But and this is not about, you know what, PNC didn't go with win, or PNC is not supporting us or whatever. This for me is region 10, for example. It should be an automatic. And it's unfortunate that this is the system that we have, because you have 9 out of, what is it, 18 seats that are there, that is given to a party that says clearly we prefer this party to lead us. I don't know. It's sad. It really is very sad. That just to say, oh, we retain um region 10 is really sad. Because this is not about retaining. As
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, the PNC should have gone back to the drawing board, because everybody is looking. Oh, Grange is responsible for this, and this body is responsible for that. And I don't think that that is the place that the PNC needs to be. The PNC needs to be at the place where they say we fail,
Yeah.
because these results that are here before me says that the PNC has failed its people,
Yeah.
has failed its base. It's not about this foolishness where some people saying, "Oh, I came out as a black woman and I get the black people from the PNC to come and support the Mohammeds." First of all, these people, you can't just get people to up and move. The people were disgruntled, and truth be told, if Win did not exist, the PVP would have gotten significantly more seats. And while the PNC would have maintained the
Agreed.
main opposition, it would have just had a couple of seats, because people were so disgruntled they were not prepared to vote. A lot of people were staying home. If you listen to the videos that they were had during the campaign period, people were saying they're disappointed in the PNC. And then the PNC, they're so foolish. They're not listening to what the people saying. They're saying, oh, Is PPP give them a money for settle? Is Win
Yeah.
give them a money for settle? That is how the people feel. The people were hurting. They were genuinely sick and tired of the situation that we're in, and nobody's doing nothing to help them. And as we would have seen yesterday, PNC clearly over there making deals so that they're able to get by, and Aubrey is able to sell it to pig off the farm. You understand me? And not looking after the best interests of the people here in this place. And it is sad. It is sad that we're in a state where the big heads, the political big wigs in this country, where it's
Yeah.
not about the people, and it's just about them ensuring that they're able to get money in the pockets, that they're able to live a fancy life and to drive a fancy car. And you would have looked at what we went up against. PNC, let me tell you something, Champo. Y'all lose these elections real bad. Because you could imagine, with the level of victimization that the government has put us under during this campaign, they fought us tooth and nail, primarily Azadin. Tooth and nail. Oh, Azadin and his father there with Maduro. Oh my goodness me. Azadin and his father this, they're into that and all sorts of things. It was a wild time. Then they started to do things to victimize us, taking people bank account and affecting people's livelihood and all of that. And people in this country still stood strong with the Win Party. PNC, that means you lose real bad for tell you the truth. Because with all those lies, the PPP come out here and say, oh, Win is with the PNC. Look how much PNC people they got. Mind you, PPP got more PNC people over there, more PNC people than we have, right? But the thing, the couple that we got over here, oh, they're with the PNC. Then the PNC, specifically Aubrey and a couple of his minions, came out here publicly and said, you know what? Win is PPP because as it then came out to the PPP and this and that, and you can give your vote and a vote for Win is a vote for PPP. Now, could you imagine saying that and then just immediately after those elections, the general elections that is, you go and collude with the PPP that you out here accusing Win of being in bed with? Let me tell you something. You know, when I was in the shower getting ready to head out a few minutes ago, you know what I was saying? You could imagine the display on social media today had Win colluded with the PPP to get seats
Yeah.
in any region. You could imagine to get the chairmanship, sorry, or the vice chairman. Oh my goodness me, it would have been grand. The
Yep.
PNC would have been running around this place on rollerblades. You see what I tell you? You see what I tell you? All them Mohammeds there with the PPP, with the PPP, they go with the PPP and make decision. But the PPP, we can't even cross the boundaries of anything with PPP because they ain't gonna finish with it. But you think that it is okay for you to do it. That is, I don't have words to describe that. Let me tell you something. The level of stupidity that I have seen displayed only yesterday is at a magnitude that even the English dictionary does not have words to express that.
Yeah.
Because you out here lying to people, lying to the people. Some people in the PNC hate anything PPP. You could imagine that? Hate. Not dislike, not disdain, not any of those things. Hate. And vice versa. So you have two people lying to the people all the time, creating enemies and hate and all sorts of things. And they out here so knocking glass behind closed doors. Oh my God. Like when I see some of these people posting today, I said, God, don't ever let me be this stupid in life that a politician could come out here and tell me something that common sense tells me is
Right.
different, and
Yeah.
I go with what the politician is saying.
Yeah.
That is ludicrous. I have supported the PNC in the past. They have gotten my vote. I enable lie. But at no point in life I out here chanting and singing the madness they just put out sometimes. You understand me? We were just in such a horrible situation where you had to choose between the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah.
And it's funny that some people operate as though, no, the PNC, they're so clean. They do everything, they're so perfect. There's no such thing as a political party in this country that is perfect. Get over yourself. But what for me is
So
unacceptable
inside.
and I will not stand down on is politicians coming out here and lying to us. Because in the same way, I would lash the PNC, the PPP for six, the PNC would go for six too. because ain't nobody about that. And even when I had given them my vote, when I don't agree with them, I spot it out. Then I don't care. The whole pack of them say, "Oh, you're going against the party," and I got time with going against party. Right is right and wrong is wrong. You must stand for something or take a seat.
And something you said there, Odessa, I like to reiterate things, right? Um,
Mm.
you were speaking earlier about what would have happened if Win was not part of the election in 2025. And I see a lot of things going on about who Win is with and who Win is not with. And every day the same people saying something that contradict what they said the day before to paint Win in a very bad light. But the reality is that people did not want to vote for APNU. They wanted something different. And if Win was not in that picture on election day, the PPP would have gotten more than the seats that they got right now.
Yeah.
They could have easily
Well,
gotten
not the seats
two-thirds
that they got,
majority
the seats that they give
and been able to
themselves, because
take
they
complete
did
control
not
of
get those seats,
everything.
Tabitha.
I didn't hear you, Odessa.
No, I was saying the seats that the PPP give themselves.
That too. We're going with the fact that GCOM numbers we know are not necessarily the right numbers. But the seats that they gave themselves and they gave all of us would have been more. But we end up putting a spoke in their wheel because it was obvious that the numbers for us were great on the ground. So, and the reality is that most people did not want to vote for the APNU. And so we are
No.
here, and we should be seen as a saving grace in 2025 elections because the PPP would have had two-thirds majority in parliament. And I don't think people understand what that would have meant. Two-thirds majority meant you could
Right.
have changed the constitution to mean anything for yourself. Two-thirds majority meant that Barajagdi would come back as president for the umpteenth time.
Is he not president?
Well, the actual
To
president,
the
he would have been able
The
to be
sworn-in
sworn-in
president.
president. Whatever they had in their brain
Mhm.
as what they wanted to do with two-thirds majority, that was what they were aiming for.
Yeah.
And so what Win did was ensure and push back the PPP's ability to have complete control of the legislature.
And you know what, sad? They know just what you're saying there, Tabby. The PNC know full well and good that they needed Win. Don't let them pussyfoot around there as if, oh, Win came in and Win just took our people. Those were not your people. Because if they were your people, they would have been voting with you. Those are people who fed up with you and your nonsense. There is nobody who is owed to no political party. But, oh, there's my people. You ain't own nobody, hey, PNC. PPP don't own nobody. Y'all don't own nobody. So don't this is my people me. Because of that, this is my people. That is why they're there with it there. Because they're of the opinion that no matter how much nonsense they do, people are going to go there and give them the X because they don't want to vote for the PPP. That is the same attitude that got them right there, that they feel they could do the bare minimum and still slide into a little opposition position. Because there's no way the PNC could tell me they were trying to get into government.
Yeah,
Absolutely
that's
no way.
true.
Because that campaign that they ran there was to come in for second base.
Yes.
And for me, that's
And
where
it
we have.
still
That's
did
where
not
people
qualify
must
them for
start. That is where people must start. If you want to be objective in this, if you want to really see people for who they are, if you really want to judge Win and APNU for what they really are and what they have done during these elections, you would first understand that there was a serious disinterest in any serious campaign from the APNU. And what it said was the fact that Aubrey Norton was comfortable as being opposition leader.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that he was comfortable with what he was getting as opposition
Right.
leader, he thought that he
Right.
could have remained in that position. And as long as he is comfortable in that position, he didn't care about
Right.
anybody else. The very people that they're trying to own, he had no time with them. So you got a campaign
Right.
that was like somebody who wake up from a hangover. You know, they really can't
Well,
function
technically,
properly.
Clay, and if I may cut you before you continue, I don't want you to leave this out because the reality is it may have been somebody who woke up from a hangover. But go on because I
I
mean,
know
the man
I
gotta
know
make
that is
money.
what you stopped me to
Continue.
say, right? But you know, you wake up and you can't your foot and your hand, your coordination is not in sync. So You're just going with the flow. Wherever you're guided, that's where you go. And you don't put any effort or anything into doing anything because you're dazed. And that's how it appeared. And so after the announcement of Mr. Mohammed's candidacy, then you see a little thing to try and muster some amount of campaigning, because you now realize that there's a third person in the race. Mind you, at the beginning of it, they still weren't a push, because after the PPP started to attack the Mr. Mohammed, what happened is that they believed that with the attacks that was coming, that Win would not have garnered support to even reach nomination day.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when Win came out on nomination day and they saw the close to 15,000 people on the seawall, then they realized that this party really gonna shake up the elections. And so everybody became now more alert at the fact that Win is actually going to impact these elections. And so the attack stepped up from there. From the PPP, candidates were targeted after the names were published, as you rightfully said. And then the PNC realized that they got to do something to try and maintain their support base in a sense. And so that is when they realized, or we realized, that his position was under threat, because he realized that if this train continue going where
You're
it is
in
going,
third place.
I am no longer the leader of the opposition. I will no longer be the leader of the opposition. And and so then they tried to kick up a stink. But at the end of the day, people must understand that if we're to be truthful in all of this, and I don't want to even say the APN, but Aubrey's intention was never to run a campaign that would have seen him win an election. That was not his interest. And there is a saying, to thine own self be true. He need to do that. And so because of that, Win stepped in, the people realizing that Aubrey's leadership was a failed leadership, decided, and this is how I see it, they decided to vote against his failed leadership. Because mind you, everybody in the PNC ain't bad. Right?
Oh God, Cleon, say it loud for me, please.
The people voted against failed leadership.
I didn't hear you, Cleon. Where's the part you said the people did?
They voted against failed leadership.
Okay, I just needed to hear it twice. Thank you.
You understand? And so for him to even, after such an atrocious election, to still think that it warrants him maintaining any other part of the world, any political party would have lost the way the PNC did, the leader would have resigned with immediate effect.
Man, here's what.
Because, hold on, I'm getting to something. Let me lay my foundation, man. Because you realize that the electorate voted against your leadership, right? And so this whole thing about the central exec saying that whatever, I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I want the Guyanese people to get a clear understanding and to distinguish between the two. Because as far as I'm concerned, being 3-4 months old, PNC as it is now cannot step in Win's shoe. Whether y'all want to say that Win is politically amateur and you want to say whatever, I am putting it out here that the current PNC, or be like telling people to come to debates and come and debate me and come and debate this. Y'all come and debate us on it if y'all want to debate us on it. And then we will see who politically amateur. The PNC at present, the failure that is the PNC at present cannot measure up or stand in Win's shoes at the moment. And so, if we're going to go down the road throwing jabs, there's a reason I just stay away from certain social media back and forth, because at the end of the day, what we do is for the people, and the time we're going to spend with this is not necessary. And so, for the sake of the people, I want to say to the viewers out there that whether Win, vice chair, or just councillors, we will never sell out the people. We will ensure that what we do and the decisions that we make are within the best interest of the people. We will not coalesce with, partner with, however you want to put it, with anybody that oppresses the people. And we will stand on that word. It's no if, it's no but. There are times when decision
And
has
that
to be
is something
made,
we had a
yes,
little
but it's a total different scenario when you
yes.
wholeheartedly go and support your oppressors and sell out a nation to your oppressors.
Right, but Cleon, additionally, I mean, there are going to be times when we would need to stand with the
Government. With the
PVP
government,
and
not
the
the
government.
PPP.
Sorry, don't let me say with the PVP, with the government, and I'm speaking to matters of national interest and security and so on. When
Correct.
it comes to the Venezuela issue and so on,
Correct.
that we have a common interest because it affects us as a nation.
Yes.
But
Yes.
when it comes to people's personal and party interests that subverts the will of the people, then we have a problem with that
Yes.
because and we see that about to happen in Region 10, where the people wanted one thing, and between the PNC and the PPP, they decided, you know what, we're not going to give them what they want, we're going to give them this. And that is sad and it is wholly unfortunate. Um, and these are the people who sit down and they knock glass and they said, this is what we're going to do. And that, by no stretch of the imagination, signals Wynn's intent to not fight for the
Correct.
people and for the will of the people to be had. Because at the end of the day, we are here to serve. We're here to serve the people, and we are here also to fight for the people to ensure that when the day comes to an end, what is reflected here in this country is what the people need. It is what the people have been crying for, what the people have been asking for. And there is no way any PPP, I don't care who fancy liar, buy, bring out who big buy, who in business, who is in whatever position in life. At the end of the day, the common sense will prevail. And while some people are speaking because they do not understand the seating and how the thing works, and they're just only able to run with what the people who they trust are saying, there is going to come a point where people are going to be able to sit down and where common sense will come into play when people are able to look at these things and see, you know what? PNC make an agreement to give Region 8 to the PVP. They made an agreement to give Region 4 to the PVP, and they will end up with Region 10 as a result of that. And that is very sad.
Yeah.
Very, very sad. Because at the end of the day, the only people who have lost in this equation, if I may correct my good friend Terence, is not
It's the people.
Wen. It is the people of this
Yes,
country,
it's the
because
people.
what the PNC decided to do with the PVP is solely wickedness. And as far as I'm concerned, that should go in the category of unforgivable sins.
Yes.
When you are going to say to me that you are going to collude with these people just because you want to get a little seating in one place to the at the expense of even the greatest number. I mean, it's not even a matter of, I mean, the stupidity of it all speaks to what they gave up for what they could have had. But even in that, I don't even know if that is the biggest problem. But in terms of how I look at it therefore means that what they have done is disregarded the will
Of
of
the
the people in
people.
Region 10,
Yeah.
disregarded. And you
Completely.
could tell me that these are people who you have their best interests at heart, and they're saying to you, I want water, and then you come and give them soda. Oh no, drink the soda. What? Is the same liquid. I mean, it doesn't do the same thing, and it is not what I want. And so it says to me that the PNC does not care about the people in Region 10. They can get all the fancy talkers and so on who are going to come out here and smooth talk and try to razzle dazzle the people with the foolishness. But the truth is, you know what I have always wanted for me as a Guyanese citizen in this country? I want a leader who can sit down and tell me the truth. I don't care if you have fancy words, if you have no words, if your grammar rang. If you gonna come out here and sit down to me and say, Odessa, our nation, this is what is going on, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I telling y'all like it is, this is what we can do for y'all. I ain't gonna be here say y'all we can't do this, but we can try to do it in time.
Yeah.
If we get it, if we able to do it, we can
Correct.
do it. If we not, meanwhile nobody, yes, we're gonna do all of this. Get blasted well enough that there's no way for you to get all these kinds of things done. I appreciate people who will sit down with me and say, this is what it is. It's not that we're not trying our best. This is what we're doing. This is what we're planning, and so on. But don't come out here and try to lie to the people. We suffer too much in this country, and this is across this country. We have suffered tremendously in this place here, right? And of course, we have the government taking the seat. We will continue to suffer because their P in the PVP is for punishment. You understand me? And to ensure that we continue to suffer in this place, and the rich people, well, not even the rich people now, because we have billionaires and trillionaires in this place, while the majority of the people in this country remain paupers. Every day, people live in paycheck to paycheck in this country, and only one set of people able to live. Only one set of
Yeah.
people. And when I say one set of people, mind you, for those of you who be commenting a BS in the comment section, I'm not even referring to a race.
Yeah.
I'm referring to the people who fall into the brackets of the favorites of the PPP. And that is unfortunate
Yeah.
because some of you, I am certain, while I'm not looking at the comment section and all that, out here defending the PPP and the PNC to the last in the comment section. That is the level of stupidity that you're at. That the people who got you punishing in this place here is who you under in a comment section defending. That is why the leaders in this country, in very many instances, do the bare minimum,
Yeah.
because you have people who can come out here and cross and put their life on the line for them. Even though those same people are the people who got y'all in oppression, we have got to move on from a place of this blind and unnecessary loyalty that we give to our political leaders and hold them to a higher standard and ask for what we deserve and stop with all this foolishness. Oh, they're trying to. You're talking about a government that is in power. I got off on a tangent now. Give me a second. We're talking about a government that is in power. People saying, oh, they're doing the roads one at a time. Let me tell you something. We got money in this country that we could afford to do all the roads simultaneously. I'm not saying to do that because this government's so stupid that is doing all the roads in one area. You don't got no damn way to come out here except some one route that you got to moving kitty cat at. But I'm making the point that we are financially capable. We don't need to wait for nothing. Where is all of our money going? What is it going to? What is happening? And I'm saying that to say this is not about the roads, but I'm saying that to say that we deserve better as a nation and that we can be given better and that we need to stop making excuses, whether it is for PNC or for PPP, and to hold our leaders to higher standards. They're going to come out here with a whole jackass brigade of, oh, when come out here and the thing and so on. But they are not going to speak to things like, why did you vote for the PPP in Region 8? Why did the PPP vote for you? Because y'all got one seat there and end up with the vice chair because y'all vote for PPP, vote for y'all. Come out here and be honest with the people. Say, yes, this is what we do. Own up to your wickedness. Own up to your lies. Don't try to come and peddle nothing but, oh, want to win voters voted for PPP in Region 5. It don't matter who voted for PPP in Region 5. PPP was going to win Region 5 regardless. They didn't need nobody. You helped them win more than they would have win. A win is a win. It is not like in Region 6. It's not like in Region 8 where, you know what, it matters where you vote. It's not like in Region 10 where it matters where you vote because of what the outcome would look like. Or Region 4 where it matters where you vote because it will affect the outcome. Them people outnumber you in those places. What are you going to do? Stop pushing this nonsense as if Win has given Region 5 to the PPP. The PPP had Region 5 without Win, without anybody.
Yeah. And I wanted to add to that, the particular individual came out last night, I think let me say that, and speaking about representative democracy and trying to make it seem as if representative democracy means that you can subvert the will of the people and make backroom deals because you don't like how somebody's attitude and you don't like the way somebody behaves on the ground.
Oh, God.
And so,
you're talking about Sharma Solomon?
Yeah, well, I wasn't calling names.
Oh, well.
But there was a whole, yes, Sharma Solomon I was talking about. There was a whole statement about the representative democracy and this term and what it means.
Yeah.
And what it means that, that you vote for people to come and represent your interests at the level of the council. But I don't think he understands what representative democracy means, because it cannot mean that the majority of the people in Linden vote for one party, and you decide because you don't like how somebody behaves that you can subvert the will of the people and change who the people decided they want to lead their region. That is not representative democracy, sir. So I think you need to go back and look at that a bit more, and then come back and tell the people what exactly representative democracy means. It cannot mean making backroom deals and subverting the will of the people and going against what the mandate that the people gave those persons on the council, which is that they wanted Win to lead that region.
Yeah, but hey, I guess
Right.
here was hysteria that at the end of the day, Win still got 9 seats on the council. So they still have to represent the people that voted for them on the council level because they got the 9 seat. But the representative democracy aspect of it goes through the window when it comes to them deciding who is the chair
Yeah.
of the RDC. You know, and what when I listened to that and a couple of the other
Ay,
things,
ay, ay.
what you got is there was obviously some personal thing going on between the person who was
Win's
nominated by Win Margorin and the PNC people, and I would go as far as to say even Mr. Campbell,
yeah.
because all of them chose to go after him to say, oh, he's arrogant and people didn't even like him and what's not and what's hot, which is quite fine. But at the end of the day, whether or not you like somebody, whether or not you have personal issues with somebody, whether or not you as an individual feel that though somebody might be arrogant or what's not, the electorate has already spoken.
Yeah.
They has already decided that this is what we wanted. We wanted Win. If you had an issue with somebody that Win was putting forward, or when we were having agreements, based on what they were saying, they already knew who was the individual that
Yeah.
Win was putting forward. If you had an issue with that, when we were having the negotiations, you should have raised your concern as it relates to whether or not you think this is the best candidate to lead the region because you don't feel this candidate has the confidence of all the members of the council or what's not. But at the end of the day, it played out to be what was intended all along by the APNU, which was to work along with the PPP to ensure that they can get what they want out of any negotiation in a sense.
So the bottom line is that Win is here because we want a different type of leadership. We believe that we need to represent the interests of the people, and we listen to the people. And we believe too that whatever it is that we do must be in the interest of the people who support us. And we have heard loud and clear what the people require of us, what they expect of us. They have said it to us throughout the campaign. Even when we go out in the communities now, they continue to tell us what it is that they expect of us and what it is that they would like us to do and how it is they want us to represent them at the level of parliament, at the level of the region, and even outside of that. And so we can assure, I would like to say this on behalf of Wayne, I know Odessa will too, that we can give you the assurance that we will never support anyone or any group that will oppress us as a people, and I'm talking about the Guyanese people, because we can see what has happened over the last, and our leader has said this time and time again on the campaign trail. We have been in existence as a nation for way too long and have seen time and time again the interests of the people not coming first when politicians sit back, get what they can out of the system, and leave the people out of it. Leave the people's interest out of the conversation. Leave when they talk about development, it's all about bridges and roads and buildings, and the people cannot survive on the meager salaries that they have. They're struggling to get water, struggling to get light, struggling to put a roof over their heads. And that is what we are interested in ensuring that stops as a party. And so with all that has happened over the last couple of months and what has happened yesterday, I think you can see quite clearly who will work in your best interest and who has decided politics is all about opportunity. It's all about making deals, and it's all about subverting the will of people for your personal gain, for their personal gain.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and it's not that we will be
If I
naive to
can,
the fact that, especially when you have a joint opposition, you will have to make deals. But at the end of the day, those deals must be made for the best interest of the people. So even if it's an opposition, you have to work together. It's not about self. It's not about what you want, what you think you could gain, and what you think you must get. It is at the end of the day ensuring that you're able to represent the people properly and effectively.
exactly. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
Odessa.
you.
So, Odessa, any last words you
Claudia,
want to share with us? I know we didn't get into the whole meeting and what happened, what threw that meeting off. There's always a tomorrow or another day to come back again and talk and share with the people. But I think one of the things that we will have to do is we will have to have a more resident live so that we can engage our people more often. And so, I don't know. What are your closing remarks?
yes. Um, my closing remarks. Oh goodness, it just hit me that I have to give closing remarks. What I would like to leave the people with is the is the fact that we're intelligent enough people. Unlike Barrett, I would not say that we are stupid people. Maybe Barrett is referencing the people who support his party. But we're intelligent enough to sit down and to look at the information that is before us and to make a decision based on what we know, not on how we feel, not on what we like, not on who we support, but on what is sound and logically what is correct. And so I don't wish even for our supporters to leave here thinking, oh, I said this and this is what it is. You have the information that I've given you. You have the lies that the PNC has put out there. And you're able to sit down and to look at the two sets of information, not who it came from, not how it came from them, or whatever the case is, but to look at the information in the state that it is presented to you and to say to yourself, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, and so on. It is as basic as that to make a decision not based on loyalty, but based on what is presented before you. And so I'm saying that to say that I trust that we do not blindly follow and listen to a people or a party, but that we employ our own common sense, our own logic to the situation, so that we're able to come to a decision that is in our best interest. Because clearly, the bigwigs in the political world does not have the best interest of the people at heart, and that was reiterated yesterday. And even in the statements that came out, that was very irresponsible, that came out of Aubrey Norton and the PNC thereafter, because regardless of what played out yesterday, if we are supposed to work together going forward in any capacity, the statement that came out that said Win wanted everything is by no stretch of the imagination true. And it is sad that the PNC had to come to such an unfortunate place where they would spew such untruths. You didn't even say we couldn't come to an agreement or an agreement wasn't had or any of those things. What you said is Win wanted everything. You're too liar. At no point was that on the table. So I just feel as though, as a nation, we need to start having check ins with our leaders in terms of if you do this, if you say this, whether or not I support you, I'm going to call you out on it. And that is the level of maturity that we have got to get to as a nation, where we don't be bamboozled by smooth words and well written letters and statements, but that we truly sit down and listen, not just to hear, but also to get a deeper understanding of what is being said, and for us to conclude whether or not this is something we agree with or we disagree with or we like or dislike. So I want to say thank you for tuning in with us here today. There's so much that I didn't get an opportunity to say because it's a mouthful, but trust me, you will be hearing from me very often. You hear? Because I promised the PNC that the second they go and vote with the PPP, I'm gonna be a thorn in the side, and that is on Mary and she little lamb. So I can assure you, you will be hearing from me very often.
Tabitha, your closing
Yeah, let's
remarks.
pass, people.
Well, I made my closing remarks earlier, but
Okay.
just to reiterate what Odessa said, that you know, I think in looking, and actually I want to do something else. I think when we're looking forward, because we spent a lot of time on the other people. Win has an agenda. Um, we know that we're just like 4 months old now. We have a lot of eager supporters, uh, thousands of persons who have signed up to become members, and we are working to put groups in place and to set up our structure because we are not going anywhere in spite of all they might be saying that we are going somewhere. We will not be there for much longer. We are putting all of our structure in place and we're coming bigger and better for local government elections. And we're running all the way to 2030 because we believe that this country deserves better leadership and leadership that listens to the people, that responds to the needs of the people, and leadership where people can see that that the leaders have their interests at heart. And so we're going to be in your neighborhood soon. We're working all across the country. Our councillors have been sworn in, and you will be seeing them knocking on your doors. And you'll be hearing from us more often.
All right. So that is it for us tonight. Thank you, Odessa. Thank you, Tabitha. And as I said
Yeah.
a bit.
Cleon, could I before you go, could I ask Tabitha to call me as soon as this live is finished? I just want to get an understanding of what she meant when she said we're gonna be running all the way to local government because I may have to sign out to that one. Depending on what that means.
Yeah, so just to let you guys know that as Tabitha said, Win is here to stay. This is not a one-hit wonder, but we really have a core of people who have a vested interest in ensuring that the lives of every Guyanese citizen is better. To ensure that the our children are able to get equal access and opportunity, to ensure that it is not just equality but equity
Yeah.
is the order of the day, to ensure that the wealth and the riches of the nation flows to the man very down at the bottom of the ladder, not just a couple at the top grabbing everything for themselves. And when they wake up tomorrow and decide, oh, let me give a cash grant here and there, that is what we are worth. And so we want to ensure that the resources of the nation, that it benefits the people of the nation. Yes, development is necessary, but developing the human resources equally and in some instances, and
More
I would say
important.
more important
More
than the
important. Yeah.
infrastructural development. And so we have to ensure
Yeah.
that our development for the people, the plan for the development of the people, is even more cohesive than that for infrastructural development and interconnecting highways and roads, as we're calling them. But we have to ensure that we have a developmental plan for the people, that even the development that is happening in the, as it relates to the infrastructure, that the people also are able to benefit from it and also are able to have some sense of
Ownership.
ownership in what is happening in the nation. Because when you have a vision and people don't feel as though they're part of the vision, you end up with one Guyana, truth be told. And I don't think the one Guyana thing happened by chance. I think it happened because there's a disconnect with the people and those who are in power. And so they just ran with it as if it was something that was making sense. But I'm not going to go into that.
Additionally, a disconnect between those in power and reality,
And
Cleon.
that too, a disconnect between those in power and reality. So we thank you guys for tuning in with us, and we hope that we were able to shed some light on what went down yesterday. We know there were a lot of things said. We know that there were a lot of people dancing in the ring. We know that there were a lot of people wake up early while the chicken was still seasoning and decided that they want to spew some nonsense on wherever they were standing. But at the end of the day, whether or not you like people, at the end of the day, whether or not you feel as though a candidate is not somebody you can support, many of us don't like church's chicken, but that's quite fine. At the end of the day, we have to ensure that what we do and how we do what we do is for the benefit of the people of the nation. And so, with that, I am signing out, and thank you for joining us tonight on Wins Live Update. You're going to hear from us before next Saturday. But that's all. Thank you. Have a pleasant
Yeah,
rest of the evening.
Cleon. Yeah, you too, Cleon.
Bye.
Especially you. Bye bye.
What?